Finally, criticism about the Collegium. I thought I had reserved the best for the last. No institution in democracy or in a constitutional democracy is perfect. But we work within the existing framework of the Constitution as it is interpreted and given to us. And all the judges of the Collegium, including me, we are faithful soldiers who implement the Constitution. When we talk of imperfections, our solution is to work our way within the existing system. Because we as judges are entrusted with a system which we have to abide by and follow. The President raised a query about are good people, how would you get good people to man the system? Getting good people to enter the judiciary, getting good lawyers to enter the judiciary is not just a function about reforming the Collegium. Getting to be judges is not a function of how much salary you give judges. However high you pay your judges, it will be a fraction of what a successful lawyer makes at the end of one day. People become judges for different reasons. People become judges because of a sense of commitment to public service. There are some doctors who join private corporate hospitals. There are others who spend their lives working for the All India Institutes of Medical Sciences, for the public hospitals to serve the poor. So becoming a judge is a call of conscience. And getting good people to become judges is first and foremost about inculcating upon the minds of the young members of the bar about the limitless ability which lies in the power of every judge to do good to society. Good judging is about being compassionate. Good judging is about understanding the problems of people. Good judging is about not being judgmental about people whose ways of life you and I may not agree with, including somebody who is in breach of the law. Good judging is about understanding why even a criminal becomes a criminal, which is not to excuse the crime, but to ensure that even when you deliver hard letter justice, there is a defining line which ensures that within the framework of the law, there is a great power which is entrusted to the judge to be of good to others. And I think when we need to have good people within the system, the answer lies somewhere else. And that answer lies in mentoring young people by giving them the ability, the dream, the aspiration to become judges. Not in pursuit of a better life as a judge, or by having that car which the government gives you, or by giving that house which the government gives you. I think that's the least important part of the job. Because that's all very transient and it's all going to leave one day. But what leaves, something which does not leave you as a judge, even when you retire, is that sense of fulfillment. Your conditions of service are only so long as you are a judge. But something which is never taken from you even when you demit office is your sense of fulfillment of what you have done for the community during the time that you have been a judge. So I think it's also about changing the culture in the minds of our young lawyers. And we have to make judicial office appealable to our young lawyers by the way we work as judges, by the way we work as lawyers. If young lawyers see senior members of the bar screaming at judges, young lawyers will feel, well, do I want to go there and be screamed at by other members of the bar? On the other hand, if young lawyers feel that judges are given such respect by all segments of the establishment, that will only make judgeship more appealing to them. Likewise, we have to ensure that young lawyers are mentored by our judges. When we as judges mentor young lawyers, we get more than our adequate share of blessings in terms of the smiles which they give you, in terms of the kindness which they show to you inside and outside. When I was down with a very florid attack of COVID in May 2022, I got an email from a group of women commanders in the Indian Navy to whom we had delivered justice. Brother Rastogi and I were on the bench, and then Brother Imarsha and I took the mantle in another case. Those women commanders sent me a little email and told me that, sir, you have never met us in person, and I'm sure we'll never meet you again in person. But for the justice which you did to us in our case, we are all praying for you and for all other judges in the Supreme Court who have been afflicted by this rather serious ailment which we are all combating in our society today. That, I believe, is the greatest satisfaction of judging. So it is when we share these stories, that's when we will encourage good people to come to the bench, encourage them, tap them, ensure that they accept judgeship, persuade them. And in this task of persuasion, a great deal of mentorship is involved. So it's not just about reforming the Collegium, it's not just about giving better salaries. Of course you have to give better salaries, because their cost of living has to be attended to when their children are growing up. I know that. I've brought 2 children up over a career spanning 22 years. But there is something much more fundamental about attracting good talent to the bench. And I thought I must highlight that. And last, the Chief Justice is only the first among the equals. I am blessed as Chief Justice with very dynamic, responsible, considerate senior colleagues with whom I engage every day. So much of the work of the Collegium takes place when an agenda is circulated. But so much of the work of the Collegium takes place much earlier and much thereafter. When we leave over a cup of coffee, when we share a thought over a cup of coffee. So you must also understand that there is something called a soft culture within the judiciary as well. And we as judges are not really here to only follow the letter of the law by following the processes of the Collegium, but for the purpose of ensuring that the soft culture, that sense of constitutional statesmanship between the government and the Supreme Court continues to be in harmony to find the right balance in the selection of judges. We can't be constitutional statesmen if we are only at a point where we are finding fault with each other. We understand that we have a system, we have a constitution, and we need to work our way as constitutional statesmen to finding just conclusions. And I'm sure that with the assistance of very distinguished colleagues who I have on the bench, who have great experience of handling difficult situations, we can handle every situation with a great deal of harmony and social resolution. Thank you very much.